you look at the Islamic finance on the high level, it's really, I describe it and the characteristics, the main characteristics of Islamic finance. And then I would lay the characteristics of the sustainable finance, and that's what I have in the green. So it's an asset-backed finance. Islamic finance is an asset-backed finance. This is definitely has a huge impact on the social, because if we look at what happened in the financial crisis in the 2008 to 2010, it's actually the main reason for that financial crisis throughout the world is that the financial market was not reflecting the real market. And they were selling papers basically and just adding more fees into these papers and selling them again and again and again, which inflated that financial market, and it was not good representation of what was happening actually in the real market. But if you go to an asset-backed finance with Islamic finance, you definitely have a very good representation of the real market. It's very ethical, we all know. If you really do Islamic principles in your Islamic finance, you are kind to your environment, you take care of the social criteria of the society and that you live in. And of course, you adhere to a tremendous amount of governance. And it's all present ethical principles. Then you have the risk sharing of Islamic finance. And that's definitely where you don't do riba and you share the risk across the partners, and has tremendous impact on the social component of the ESG. Then you have the good governance. It is actually one of the main criteria or characteristics of Islamic finance is good governance, which is also a very important component of the ESG. Not only that central bank govern Islamic banks and Islamic financial institutions, but you got the Sharia board inside the institution. You have if you have a country Sharia board, that's also the Sharia board. And above all that, it's the principle of the Islamic teachings that actually govern these products. Then what my thesis here is basically, I'm saying that there is a huge match and alignment between sustainable finance and Islamic finance. Then before I go to the technology and the digital finance, I would like to read to you a statement that caught my eyes by Sundar Pichai of Google, who's basically the CEO of Google or Alphabet. He said, AI is one of the most profound things we are working on as a humanity. It's more profound than fire and electricity, and or any of the other bigger things we have worked on. It has tremendous positive sides to it, but it has real negative consequences. Really, when we talk about the fourth industrial revolution, and we go back to the first and second and third industrial revolution being the electricity, et cetera, and the steam engine, the electricity, and et cetera, it actually, we believe that the technologies that are being produced today will have more profound, and I do agree with Sundar 100%. I believe in 15 to 20 years, our world will change completely. And the changes are so tremendous and so profound that will impact our life like no other. It's already impacting our lives, but I think the impact to come is even greater. So when we talk about digital finance here, the digital finance refers to, of course, how you integrate those, what I call 4IR, what is called 4IR, fourth industrial revolution technologies like cloud, mobile, artificial intelligence, big data, blockchain, Internet of Things, and others. You can actually have about 15 to 17 different technologies that actually goes into this category. But the most common in all these technologies is data. So we're shifting from the old software and technology, which was actually based on process, to be based on data. So the main asset that all these technologies use is the data, and then take that data and make decisions based on that data, going back to the artificial intelligence and understanding that data. We're moving to a world that has four characteristics. And I don't have the time. Each one would need a very long time to explain, but I believe that our new world is dematerialization is a process is happening, and less emphasis on the material stuff will be happening, which is absolutely an Islamic concept. Demonetization, which I'm sorry, I have a misspelling there. Demonetization is basically taking the money and the currencies and anything that is physically used today, and actually move it to virtual and digital. And then we have democratization of everything. Every service that you can think of is being democratized and being available. And of course, we are empowering the individuals through these technologies. So all those middlemen and all these structures and all, even the government structures and all that, I think it's going to be declining in importance and more focus on the individual. Finally, you have an individual who is in a country that is limited by its infrastructure or educational system or whatever, actually having access to all that through technology. And that's going to accelerate in the next 10 to 50 years. So what are the possibilities? The possibilities are endless. You can actually, and you know that these technologies improve the financial inclusion. So instead of the financial system serving only the top, you actually will be able to reach a lot more people. Then you have the financial literacy, digital data literacy, privacy and financial data, et cetera, et cetera. Other things that I would like here to mention, you have the SME finance, where the SMEs are not well served, and now they're actually going to be served much better. Sustainable finance is very important, and we're talking about it, social and sustainable finance in this presentation. So I do believe that the digital finance opens a tremendous opportunities for us to actually serve and be able to have a much better and much realize the potential of the world that we live in and what we can actually do. So so if you combine those three different types of finance, you get the sustainable Islamic digital finance that I'm talking about, and it's called SIDF. And the SIDF is actually, I really do believe Islamic finance in totality as a finance, it does a great job in being green and being and supporting the sustainable finance. But if you do the more hardcore sustainable concepts and criteria, you take the Islamic finance and you take the digital finance and you combine them, that you really can achieve the world of potential. You can live in a world where the tools can act, that we do have the tools that can solve any problems. I believe now complaining should stop, and we should continue now to find solutions, because the technologies that are happening today, very few problems that we cannot actually tackle and solve. Let me give you a very quick example. Yes, we have a lot of carbon CO2 in the air, and we are there's a lot of complaining and talking about cutting trees or whatever. But we actually now working in so many technologies that allow you to plant trees, and you know how technologies scale tremendously. So if we can actually scale planting the trees, I think we have today about 3 trillion trees, and if you can actually add 1 more trillion of the trees, if the technology can actually add 1 more trillion trees, we can actually get CO2 to the pre-industrial levels, industrial age level. Can you believe that? I mean, to me, that is tremendous, and that solves the issue. And there is issues about even the population, the replacement rate is going down, and in the world, and people are now, in a lot of countries are worried that they will not have enough people to actually serve the elders and etc. So I really do believe a lot of what we complained in the past will find solutions in the next 15, 20, maximum by 2045. I think a lot of these issues will be solved. The financial inclusion is a huge possibility. because if we get the financial inclusion, then we're addressing the poverty. We are providing even zakat to the people that we want to provide without all this middle systems and middle companies and organization. And every person who gives the zakah, who knows who's getting the zakah and what they're benefiting out of it. So the financial inclusion is another ecosystem that we believe that will help tremendously, and it is powered by SIDF. Then, of course, all this and a lot of countries realizing that SIDF has a direct impact on the sustainable economic growth of these of the countries, and this is why countries are viewing this as a huge opportunity. In addition, SIDF and the right investments will allow us to have access to better quality education, healthcare, and other important services that every society needs. Above all that, as I said, data is the most important asset in SIDF, and analyzing that data will empower the investment decisions and grow jobs in sectors supporting a transition to a low carbon economy. Finally, as you can see, these are, sorry, where did it go? Sorry about that. Are you seeing my slide?
Yeah, yes. This is the one that says thank you on it right now.
No. Let's look at this one. Are you seeing my slide now? Yes, the impact of SIDF on UN, right?
Yes.
Okay. So basically, I took the 17 SDGs that, as you know, they have been put as goals to measure the sustainability. And I laid in the colors, green will be what SIDF will have direct impact, directly addressing these issues. No poverty, zero hunger, the quality of education. All this actually SIDF will be investing directly. And in the blue is actually an indirect of doing the green stuff. Things will happen in the blue. So I do believe that SIDF will have a tremendous impact on the 17 SDGs set by the world countries to measure on. This is really my quick presentation, and I am very excited about what SIDF can do for our societies as Muslims. We need to catch up. We need, we're not, if you look at the top 5-6 countries in AI, collecting AI as collecting data and doing analysis and doing AI, Muslim countries are not in these top 5 or not even top 10. So we need to wake up. We need to start to catch up and understand the potential of what these new technologies combined with the principles of the true Islamic finance to actually achieve a better world.